This video is going to be a film study look at Tylan Wallace's game-winning punt return against the Rams in Week 14, allowing the Ravens to prevail 37-31 in overtime. I'm going to try to show the all-22 and the end zone angle footage of this. I'm going to go out on a limb and say someone from the NFL is probably going to utilize this film. So if you listen to this probably beyond Wednesday or Thursday, there's a chance that parts of my voice will be edited out and the video could skip. Because that's the way it works. If the NFL utilizes the same play that I did, then I'll have to edit out portions of the video that align with the NFL's content. Nonetheless, let's get to the film. I'm going to show you the third down play that precedes Tylan Wallace's game-winning touchdown. So 3rd and 9. Game is clearly tied at 31. Ravens had to punt on our initial possession. It's a trips formation with Nakua backside on Humphrey. Another moment where a tight end chips or delay releases and is able to get free underneath. Stafford, to me, clearly planned on getting the football to him. Whether Roquan is going to be able to make the tackle or not, it would have been interesting to me if you ask me to see it. The yard to gain is the 35. It's a drop. It's an absolute drop. Stafford did a nice job side-arming it. Roquan and him is going to be in a one-on-one situation. Tight end's clearly going to take it to the middle of the field. Not much help there immediately. In any case, that drop sets up the punt. You get a better view of how much space there was for the tight end. This has been an issue since the Browns game. Actually, before that, teams have identified that this is available to them, and they're going to put us in a situation where we've got to make the tackle. There's been times where we've been unable to do so, regardless of the player involved. So let's get to the punt. Let's try to break down some of it. It's not a wall from a traditional standpoint at all. I think it was Dolph on Twitter or somebody who asked me about it. But anyway, first, I really like the late double down at the bottom side of the screen. I'll let it flow through one time so you can see it. I've got some feedback from people that like, being able to see the play multiple times. Pretty amazing, Tylan Wallace able to keep his feet the way he did and get up the left sideline. It's a man scheme, if you ask me, defensively from a blocking standpoint. I love the late double here. This is what I'm talking about to the downside. Worley, and I think it's Ronald Darby down here at the bottom. Interestingly, Lamar can be seen later on pulling Darby off the field. I guess he wasn't sure, that Darby was on the field. But in any case, that kind of tells you where the return side is called because we're doubling here. Up to the top side, JAD does a nice job on 38, and I'll reference that a little bit more later on. Darby and Worley is two guys who've played well defensively this year. And look at them down here. They've got this guy locked up, out of bounds at this point. And I am going to rewind this a couple of times so you can see it. When Tylan Wallace is able to bring this to the downside of the field, where the call is, our sideline basically. I mean, these guys have retained leverage, double-team leverage on him. There is nothing for that to do at all. All right, something else I want to mention here is post-snap. You kind of get a view of him here. Justice Hill is peeling to our sideline. He's going to be the guy that ends up picking up the punter. Clearly, that was mentioned during the broadcast. Again, we win up to the top side with JAD. Gets just enough of a piece of this guy to push him that direction. Additionally, this is Arthur Millette in the middle of the field. I think he's just there to ensure that nobody can front up Tylan Wallace, meaning nobody can get right in front of him and force him to go to the opposite side away from where I think the call is. Millette's job is just to check, make sure in there that no one's able to get directly in Wallace's face and disrupt the scheme, if you will. If the other gunner from the opposite side was to win inside here and be able to get to Wallace, Millette would be a fold guy who could get in the way of that gunner. Do I think he actually did anything on this play? Well, not necessarily. We do have a great job across the board from multiple guys. So we'll start with the first one. I think it's Simpson right here. You get a better view on the broadcast. He did a great job of not peeling back, got his arms up in the air to make sure that he doesn't get called there. Kolar's block probably could have been called. Seen it called before, no doubt. I do think that it's very light contact from Kolar's perspective, and it doesn't look like to me he really actually blocks in the back. It looks like he tries to, and the guy is diving down. It sounds easy for me to say this as a Ravens fan. I think it's the right call to not call it because I don't think he really affected the play. Now, I have the benefit of hindsight, being able to watch this play 6 or 8 times already, to know that. Do I think he actually blocked in the back? No. Do I think he was trying to block and end up touching the guy's back? Yes. That's a very elongated way of saying, I'm glad that they didn't call it. Nonetheless, I don't feel like it would have been the correct call to do so. All right, Wallace breaking the tackle is clearly a big part of this. Additionally, the awareness of Del'Shawn Phillips to understand there's nothing he can do with Freeman. There's nothing he can do. Here's Del'Shawn Phillips. All he had was a view of Freeman's back. He just peels back, meaning he folds away, makes a high, Tylan Wallace makes a high effort spin. There's not much space down here at all. This, however, is probably the time when most people, myself included, started to sit up in their seat. It's a lot of bodies from the top of the numbers to the sideline. Another dead giveaway that's where the call side was. Tight space. Worley and Darby is still locking up the gunner down here, and watch Phillips peel back. Additionally, a great job. I think it's by 51 51 Josh Ross to stay in front of this guy here. Can't really do anything with him because he doesn't want to clip, but he gets his back on the guy. Look how you can tell their coach to do it that way. Raise his arms up in the air. Ross had lost his man. I do hope that's Ross, 51. He had lost his man. That's the guy that Del'Shawn Phillips blocked. And credit to Ross for keep playing football, not buying a ticket. He doesn't get a home run block on it per se, but he does have an effect on that guy being incapable of making a tackle. Additionally, we're not trying to block it here as well, but look at Del'Shawn Phillips. He's the deepest guy here to the call side. I think that's intentional, that he's to the call side. Great effort by multiple guys. Ross is here. He loses his man, meaning he does no longer have control of him. He no longer has control of him, but he doesn't buy a ticket. He doesn't just stand around and watch. Del'Shawn Phillips picks his man up, and you can see the seam that's created between Phillips's block and these two guys still being on the gunner, Worley and Darby. Ross going to cut this man off right around in the 42, 43-yard area. Wallace has got enough burst to get past one more defender. And you know who that is right there? That's 38. That was JAD's man from the top side. Am I saying JAD lost him? No. I'm saying JAD did a great job, because if he didn't, that guy would have been in better position to fold back and potentially make the tackle. We're going to go to the end zone angle here and talk about Justice Hill. Justice Hill's at the top side here. And all he's trying to do is get some push on this guy and then leave him, because he's responsible for the last man in pursuit. And you can see that he's folding back to the call side. And then I think you've got Tavius Robinson there folding back as well. Look at the decision by Phillips to not block this guy in the back. Additionally, JAD has taken this guy far enough downfield to give him a little bit further to run, and we needed every inch of that. Great job right here to get a piece of 96. Phillips is going to take over Josh Ross's man. And then now we got Justice Hill. Justice Hill finishing off the punter. Pursuit from the backside, 38, almost gets there, like I said. If JAD had done 2 pounds less of force dealing with the gunner up there, 38, then 38 potentially could have finished it off. This is what it's supposed to look like, and it doesn't always work out like this. And the Ravens have not been a great special teams team, I don't think, in 2023. Justice Hill releasing to that side. Oftentimes you'll see punters or personal protectors following that guy, because we're basically telling you where the return is. Some teams have 2 players that want to go to one side, one or the other. You can see the great nature of these guys, kind of a real delineated line there. Kolar, the only guy who's not in front, clearly. Rams fans, I'm sure, want it to be called. Beautiful job by Justice Hill digging the punter out of here. I know it's a punter, but you still got to dig him out of there, keep him from getting to the sideline. Not much room there. You can only imagine what it was like on that sideline for those guys in that moment. Credit to the Rams. They came in and played physical, and I thought were the more physical team, particularly their offense in the first half. A great moment. I think we'll all remember where we were. I know I will, especially depending on how the season ends. This could be a historic season. This play could end up being something like Ray Rice's 4th down conversion in 2012 that helped us get in. Helped us, that win, that 4th down conversion, 4th and 28, 4th and 26, something like that, helped us get in and then win the Super Bowl. You guys, let me know what you think of the way that I broke down this play, of it being Tylan Wallace, the guy that returned it. It's interesting that, it wasn't Devin Duvernay. Karma, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, has it such that it was Tylan Wallace, a guy who's buried on the depth chart. Look at the other dudes that were on that punt return team. Arthur Millett's on that punt return team. Justice Hill's on that punt return team. He had been on, on the game or go-ahead drive to late fourth quarter, so he's a starting caliber running back along with Gus and Keaton Mitchell. He's in a lot. Arthur Millett is in a lot. Other guys on that team are not. Darryl Worley and Ronald Darby, they've played their asses off on defense in 2023 at various times. They're on this punt return team. J.A.D. can't get on the field. He's on the punt return team. Trenton Simpson, Tavius Robinson. It's kind of fitting that it was Tylan Wallace. I guess it would have been fitting if it was Devin Duvernay as well, because he can't get on the field on offense either. I mentioned it in the reaction video, and a couple people reached out to me on Twitter and asked me to explain it. It's our 40th through 50th best players. Maybe that's not accurate. Maybe it's our 35th through 44th or something like that. 45th, excuse me. Because it's the guys who aren't starting, the guys who are second, third string. They're on the punt return team to do their job, and in this case, they did a fantastic job of it. I think that's probably the reason why Harbaugh was so fired up, screaming in the camera at the end of the game, because it was a special teams moment, a special teams play that decided the game. Gets the Ravens to 10-3. I would kind of wish it had been a wall punt return, so I could have explained it one more time. If you guys are interested in that, I'll link you up to an older video. The Ravens used to use the wall often with Duvernay. He's got a little bit more speed to get to the wall than maybe Tylan Wallace does, but, man, you got to give Tylan Wallace credit for breaking the tackle, spinning out of the tackle first down there from the bottom of the numbers to our sideline, and then not getting tripped up by 38, who gave a tremendous effort to try to keep him out of the end zone. Credit to all those guys, man. A fun moment. We hope you appreciate it. Hope you had fun watching that moment. And let me know what you think of the video, the way I chose to break down Tylan Wallace's game-winning punt return in Week 14.